if we were to believe some of these stories, so if we were to think that maybe there was something in it, that Harry wanted a half-in, half-out role, how do you think that would work?
We know it wouldn't work.
Well, it wouldn't work, but also, and again, to just let's play devil's advocate and say this: there's truth to this report. At the very least, and we have just seen the best example of it with the state visit with the Trumps, is that Prince William is the heir to the throne, and he is extremely senior and important to the monarchy right now. He is on terrible terms with his brother, by all reports. In what world can they possibly be even distant colleagues, which is what it would effectively be? It's completely untenable. So, and again, I don't really want to put too much weight in it because I've already said I don't believe it. But even if it were to happen, that in itself would be a huge stumbling block. I don't see how they could overcome that. How could they both be on different sides of the country, working for the same team, the way things are now?
Do you think it could work, a half-in, half-out deal?
No. I mean, the Duke of Windsor had the same problem. He abdicated really actually quite honourably and quietly, and he just didn't fight his corner. He went off to France, and then he thought, wouldn't it be nice to come back and reinvent myself as a younger brother of the king, living at Fort Belvedere, very much on his own terms. No way, you couldn't have two kings. And in this case, I don't think you can have two princes.
What's the main obstacle then? We discussed this in the past. Is it the fact that William won't want him? Is it the fact that Harry lives in the United States, or is it the fact that Harry possibly isn't showing any desire to come back to do this?
Well, he probably isn't showing any desire to come back and do royal duties, but I mean, he's taken a different path, and he's gone public on a lot of things, and he's making money. The royal family are not out to make money; they are there to work for United Kingdom and Commonwealth, and that's what they do very effectively. They don't compete with the sovereign. I mean, he's put himself into a terrible position. I mean, he's basically no use to the royal family at the moment. Absolutely not.
And all the points you just made as well, and I agree. But all the points you've just made about what the biggest issue would be with him coming back, all of them are significant reasons why he wouldn't be able to. Not least of which is I really don't think from what we've heard from his side a lot over the last few months, especially, is that he's apparently quite happy being out of it. So I think he himself is the biggest block to him coming back. But also, as you've mentioned, he's put himself in a position where if that ever did happen, again, the coverage around him is not about the causes that he would be championing within the royal family. It would always be about the controversies of the last 5 years, because that is the attention that he gets when he's back here. And I just don't see that dying down. Maybe, we're still talking about the Duke of Windsor and all of those sorts of things. I mean, these things live on. In the last 5 years has been extremely dramatic.
But the sad thing is he's good at, I've seen him, with out in the Caribbean, he plays cricket with the kids, he plays football with them. I mean, and he looks very happy. He looks much happier, by the way, doing that than he does when his wife's chopping up petals and scattering them on salads and he's standing in the garden. Don't you think?
Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify as well. When I say that him doing duties in the UK is surrounded by that controversy, I would say that's when he's within the royal family, that's where that would be an issue. When he was here recently and doing the Well Child Awards and the other engagements he did that week, I thought he did great work because exactly as you said, that's what
he's trained for that, you see. And that's what he's good at. And I mean, and he was very good in the army too. And he was very happy when he was in the army. It's a sort of horrible situation that he's got himself into. But, many times when I sort of give rather pompous lectures at schools, sometimes I have to say, especially talking about the Duke of Windsor, if you have to choose between the path of duty and the path of supposed happiness, always choose duty because it'll make you much happier in the long run. He's chosen this. I mean, it's miserable. The Duke of Windsor was miserable too.
This is the tragedy of Prince Harry right now. He's not just estranged from his family, he's made it nearly impossible to repair that rift. Why? Because every move he makes, every word he publishes, digs the hole deeper. Instead of paving the way back to trust, he's closing the door himself. Think about it. How do you reconcile with a family you've publicly accused of racism, cruelty, and betrayal? At some point, words can't be taken back. And that's exactly where Harry has cornered himself. This is what people need to understand. Reconciliation isn't just about saying sorry. It's about trust. And when Harry continues to launch lawsuits, release memoirs full of family secrets, and make damaging claims in interviews, he's sending a clear message. I can't be trusted. Imagine being King Charles or Prince William. How could you open up to Harry knowing that anything you say might end up in a Netflix special or another book? This is why so many experts believe Harry is effectively blocking his own way back. What's worse is the cost of this isolation. Harry has burned bridges with his oldest allies, distanced himself from his family, And now even Hollywood seems to be losing patience with him and Meghan.
So we're going to squash this idea that Harry wants to come back in for half hour.
squashed it.
However, there is a lot of mischief always being caused when this idea comes up, and it's not going to go away. Even though the palace is saying that you don't have any chance for a half in, half out, there's still going to be people that are thinking he might come back. But we'll squash it today. It's done. It's over. Prince and Princess of Wales. They've been in Southport this week. Now, this is continued level of support that Catherine and William have been showing and giving to the town after those awful knife attacks.
Yes.
It was quite an emotional trip for the town, but also for Catherine and William.
Well, I mean, there they are doing exactly what the royal family should be doing, you know, giving comfort to people when they're in distress, and they obviously did a very good job. It was like when the Queen went to Grenfell Tower, all these different things that happen. And that is what the royal family should be doing, and not doing competitive things which cause a lot of trouble elsewhere. So, I mean, full marks to them, and I'm sure that Southport will be feeling a little bit happier today. I mean, it's a pretty ghastly situation, but I think a royal visit like that has a huge effect.
It does. I mean, it point out it's the second time that they've been back.
So they came back, yeah.
This one they went to the schools, the two schools. So it was very much concentrated on the children who were just going back to school this year, and I think there's a new community garden that had been opened, and that's where William gave a speech. And I've seen a lot of William talking. I've been to many Earthshot prizes, and I've seen him be very impressive on the stage. But I thought this might be one of his strongest moments in this speech that he gave. He'd met the parents of the children that were killed, and he said to Southport, the town, the community, we will always be here to support you, but also, to the parents, we will always be here to support you, but to the wider community, he said, you know, you will never be forgotten. These messages are really powerful coming from William.
They're good messages, yeah, absolutely. Very good messages.
And it's I guess when I was watching it and seeing the reaction of the parents that spoke to William, you think, well, this thing happened last year that the world kind of stopped for a minute, because it really was on the scale of horrific things to occur. And we're all so shocked. Unfortunately, the nature of the world and global news is that more horrific things will happen, and the world keeps spinning. Yeah. But seeing them back there and having that moment where they're speaking with the parents and they're sort of just reminding everyone that, yes, the world kept spinning, but your children, these poor little kids, it hasn't been forgotten. And what they've done there in terms of moving towards healing in that community is very beautiful, and it shone the spotlight on that. It was I was so touched watching the footage of them there.
And it works so much better. You pointed out Grenfell there, because I do remember Theresa May, the Prime Minister at the time, went to Grenfell and she got chased out, whereas the Queen went there and people were very, people were very supportive. It's the longevity of the royal family that they can actually show kind of authenticity by going to, as you pointed out, Bronte, because this is something that people move on and watch something else in the news, but they've got the longevity to stick with it and support it.
The trouble with Theresa May's visit, it's so easy for the press to say, well, it's just done for political advantage. The Queen she wasn't seeking office, and basically when she went there, I always thought she brought this huge portfolio of all the other places she'd been to, Dunblane, Aberfan, Lockerbie, all these other places that, she'd visited over the years. So, and so, I mean, I wasn't there, but I know somebody who was, and said the atmosphere was absolutely extraordinary. It was kind of the respect of the monarch, the respect that she'd taken the trouble to visit them and to listen to their stories for a few minutes. A huge effect.
Does the Prince and am I taking a too big a leap here? But does the Prince and Princess of Wales, when they're doing this, does it remind you in any ways of Queen Elizabeth II?
It fits perfectly into what I'm always saying. The role of the royal family. Is just to be useful, to be, to comfort people in distress. That's one of the things that they do very well. To show respect to a broken community. To their presence there will sharpen people up a bit and got them moving. Probably, I mean, they may well have spotted something that needed to be addressed. All sorts of things happen after a royal visit, which is really good.
And it wasn't just the community; they had private time with
exactly.
With the
and then once again, isn't it nice that it was private?
The very people he thought would give him a new life are starting to move away. And let's be real: once you've alienated your family and your friends, where do you go from there? You're left with nothing but bitterness and regret. Now, some say there's always a way back. But here's the problem. Harry doesn't seem to want reconciliation unless it's on his terms. And the royal family isn't going to bend to ultimatums. This isn't Hollywood. It's centuries of tradition and duty. If Harry can't find a way to swallow his pride, his path back may already be gone. And that, folks, would be the ultimate tragedy. Alright, that's today's reaction. What do you think? Has Harry completely destroyed his chances of reconciliation, or is there still hope for him to rebuild bridges with his family?